How do you run structured game? Okay, structured game is the communication style where every step of the interaction you have a blueprint of what to do. And I've been getting a lot of questions about that. And usually this is within my course. But recently I had a client call and I got his permission to post this video with his face blurred. But what you're going to see in this video are the technicals that I use to get from seeing the girl to having a conversation with her to creating attraction to getting a solid number. Okay, this will start to give you the idea of what it means to have a structured approach to a natural social conversation. The reason we run structured game is because a lot of the guys that actually struggle with this don't really understand vibe. They don't understand what it's like when a girl's really into you, the feeling, the experience, the energy field. They can't necessarily understand all the social cues that come really fast that a guy who gets us, naturally would. I believe in the structure, you have freedom, right? Because now you can actually analyze step by step how to create that natural flirty vibe that other cool guys seem to have that comes so easy to them. Okay? So check out this video and you'll get a sense of how to structure the conversation in a way where you engage a girl without losing value or putting her on a pedestal or feeling like you're less than. So, okay, after all the things we talked about, you walk in, I say, you looked interesting, I wanted to meet you. Sometimes at harder venues, I'll throw in a time constraint. So a time constraint mixed with social proof. So for example, my friends are waiting for me, so I can't stay too long. But I thought you looked interesting and I wanted to meet you. If I really don't have friends there, I don't want to lie. So then I'll say, I can only stay for a bit. I do have to get somewhere later. But while I'm here, I like your style. I wanted to meet you. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm throwing a time constraint / social proof, followed by an opener that yes, compliments her, but not her beauty, either her sense of style or that the fact that she looked interesting. Okay. Because that doesn't lower your value. What do most guys do? Hi, you're so beautiful. If I didn't talk to you, I would have kicked myself later. No, it's all bullshit. Because what happens is your value just drops like a rock, especially if you're a minority. She knows you're hitting on her. There's no mystery. It sucks. So with that open, if that open doesn't work, it's because she's not available. She's not interested in you no matter what you do. Or there's something with your nonverbals that needs to be fixed. So it's one of those three. It can't be anything else, right? Because we've field tested that opener thousands of times at this point. So that opener works. It's not the words. Sometimes, guys, it's their tonality. Hi, I had to get back to my friends in a bit, but you looked. She's gonna be like, no, this guy looks like she's scared, right? I do have to get back to my friends, so I can't stay too long. But while I'm here, you looked interesting, and I wanted to say hi. What is your name? Okay, with that type of tonality and good body language, most women will give you the next 20 seconds. Okay, I'm getting very technical here because you specifically said you want technical game, so that's why. So the next 20 seconds, right? That's all that gets you. Because as a minority, at least for me, when I was getting up in the game, it's like every step had to be calibrated to the point where they would give me a shot. So after that, it's what we call a transition. So a transition is the reason you're talking to her or something to move off the opener, right? And transition can be a cold read, it could be a story, it could be an interesting question. Do not go into interview mode. What do you do? Where are you from? Do you come here often? What's your hobby? What's your job? Really boring that she's heard. And it just like literally just like the girls just shut down. It's like, oh my God, another guy asking me interview questions. No. Okay. So the way you transition is, well, I think in your case, let's make it congruent, right? So like, I just turned 22 or like, you don't know this about me, but I'm actually trying something new. I promised myself that I would improve, like get better with like talking to people. And that's like one of my goals right now, to talk to 2 new people a month that I normally wouldn't meet. So that's why I just wanted to meet you. Now she understands, oh, that's why he's talking to me. That's the reason, right? Now you could also make a statement of intent and say, hey, I want to talk to you because, I found you semi-attractive and I wanted to see if you had a good personality too, right? See how even my beauty compliments are qualifications. So when you do that, if the girl likes you, she's like, oh, okay, cool. Then you're on to, normal conversation. So in that case, we were telling a story about you, but another transition could be a cold read. You could say, hey, I'm going to guess you're not originally from Canada. or like, I want to guess you moved here from a smaller town because of, I don't know, your small gestures, okay, or the way you look, and she's gonna say yes or no. If the girl gives you a hard time, it's like, why are you talking to me, or like, yeah, so like, what do you want? That usually means something in your nonverbals is off, or she doesn't date Asian, Black, Indian, whatever. She doesn't date that type of guy. She's just not interested. Canadian girls, generally speaking, are much nicer than American girls. So what they'll do is they'll give you a shot, but they also have a time limit, right? It's like after a while, like, thank you, I have to go to the bathroom. See you later. So if ever any of that happens, something in your game most of the time messed up, or it's you met that 10 to 20% who just won't date minorities. Okay. This is a lot of info. I think this is good. I think if you can get to a good open to a transition, and then you basically, it's like a kind of a normal conversation, I think that's your first step. Now with normal conversation, a lot of guys just relax and they're like, oh, okay, now I can just like be myself again. And they're like, so what do you do? Where are you from? Do you come here often? No.
We still just avoid interviews at all costs, no matter what.
Yeah, you want to make it interesting, right? Now, at this point, the conversation is more normal because you reached the social hook point. So she's like, I'm going to give you a shot. Like, yeah, let's talk like normal people. So you are going to talk about your job. You are going to talk about, where you're from, right? That's normal. That's what you would do with anyone you met. If you met a new friend at school, that's what you talk about. You want to avoid some of the normal sequence of words that most people use. Like, do you come here often? So where are you from? So instead we say, hey, out of curiosity, you look like you didn't grow up here. Where did you grow up? Right. So it's the same question as where you're from, or you could say, hey, you look French, but I'm curious where you're from. It's just a lot more interesting than, so where you from? What do you do? Do you come here often? Right. It just kicks off that tripwire, which is like, there's just another guy with no clue. Okay. With the job, it's more like I always say, so right now, is your work a career or just something kind of you just kind of do every day, right? Because I feel like that's what most people do. And she'll say, yeah, it's a job, or like, oh no, I love my job. It's I really enjoy it. Okay. So just make those, you're in normal conversation, but you want to make it a little bit more interesting than what most guys do.
Right.
At this point, I'm getting a little advanced here, so I'll stop after this because I don't want you to have information overload. And during the normal conversation, I'm always thinking in terms of structured game, what's my attraction level and what's my comfort connection level? Attraction is like, I'm sexually attracted to this guy, right? So attraction comes through banter, vibe, teasing, jokes, and just more of a dominant kind of frame, okay, man to woman. Comfort and attraction is like, is he polite? Do I feel comfortable with him? Is he empathetic? So these two almost seemingly contrasting energy fields are always building up in a dating situation. And it builds up to a point where she's like, okay, you can have my number. Okay, I'll go on a date with him, right? She has to feel both those emotions with you. Attraction, a lot of it is how you look, but it's like 50% for men. But the other 50% is like everything you're doing, your tonality, your nonverbal body language, your conversation skills, all that can be leveraged for attraction. Comfort and connection, once you reach the social hook point, she's going to give you a chance to get to know her. Most girls, okay? Then that's a lot of skill. Comfort and connection is mostly skill-based, not passive-based. I think your goal right now is just get to open to, she's giving me a shot to get to know me, okay? And that's where we are in this journey. Now you're probably, from here, you're from 0 to probably A2. And there's like 8 more steps, but to get to, she's my girlfriend. But this is the first step to take that you want to, because if you can get to this step, then what's going to happen is you're going to go talk to like 5-6 girls, and maybe half of them will actually have like a 15-minute to 20-minute conversation with you. And then your friends will be like, whoa, how are you doing that? That's really cool. So that's the first step for you.
Sounds good. And just to ask then, like, how would you close to like get her information to reconnect later after your conversation?
So when I'm starting out, I always ask, what's the best way to keep in touch with you? A better way to say is like, so how do you keep in touch with new cool friends that you just met? Okay. And if I feel like it's going more flirty, I'll say, so what's the best way you want to keep in touch with this hot Asian guy you just met? Which is referring to me, or hot Black guy you just met, which is referring to you, right? So So that just gives her the option to tell you. Now, if you did well and she likes you, she'll say, yeah, take my number or here's my Instagram. If you didn't do well, sometimes they'll be like, oh, you can go to my website or, or like, yeah, I guess I'll email you or like, yeah, I'll see you around. Sometimes the way she says, yeah, follow me on Instagram is also very dismissive. So the only way you know with Instagram is if you message her and if she follows you back, and if you message her, if she messages back. Okay. If you message her and she just kind of likes the message, no, that's, I never say, can I have your number? Or just, I said, let's exchange contact or what's the best way you want to keep in touch and let her decide. If you're doing everything correctly up to this point, you should be getting numbers or direct DMs at least 50% of the time. Okay. You shouldn't be getting fake. If you're getting fake numbers, if you're getting like weak replies or no replies, a lot of guys are like, oh, my text game is not good. No, 90% of the time, the mistake happened 2 steps ago. So if your numbers are flaky right from the get-go, it's because the initial interaction wasn't strong enough. And that's okay. That means you just got to go back and just work on how do I present myself. And that the first 10 seconds, what you say after the open transition, the next 30 seconds, if you pass that, you have another minute and 2 minutes to kind of say something of value. And then once you reach the social hook point, you kind of have 5 to 10 minutes. That's the sequence of events with structured game. Okay, very
And
technical. Yeah, you don't have to do it this way, but if you were to do it this way, this is how structured game works.
okay, one more question then. So let's say it's not going so great. Now, obviously, I don't want to be like an ass to someone because technically I approached them first, right? So if it's not going so great, how would I like respectfully kind of remove myself from that situation and not make them feel any kind of way about it?
Yeah, for me, it's very simple. Have a nice day. Just leave, and then just leave. Okay.
Okay.
Now, because you're new, and I can tell, like, you were like me a little, maybe a little bit worse than me when I started, but I get it. Like, I'll just say, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I have like some social anxiety, and I'm just trying to improve myself. Thank you for understanding, and then just leave. 90% of women will be like, oh, I get it. He's the shy guy trying to improve himself, and people usually respect that. Like, you're trying to do better. You're trying to improve yourself. If anyone shames you for that or she's like F off or whatever, that reflects more on her than you. Like if anyone does that, I don't think Canadians are that like mean as American girls. But if they do that, it's like a good riddance. Like she's not a good person anyway, you know. The most
Understood.
common phrase I remember is just have a nice day. Yeah.
Just say, all right, have a nice day, and just go out.
Yeah, have a nice day. Just leave. You don't owe her anything. She already told you she's not interested. Cool. Yeah. Sometimes if a girl's really cool and she's like, oh, I do have a boyfriend, or like, I'm sorry, I'm just not available, or like, you seem cool, we can be friends, but I'm not interested. I'll say, cool, thank you for letting me know. Right? I'm thanking her for being honest with me. But if she's like, I have a boyfriend, or like, who is this Asian guy talking to me? That like condescending, I'm just like, I used to get angry before. It's not worth your time. Just like, have a nice day. Just leave. Right. You just want to return like the same energy level, but not go below to negativity. It's like, hey, have a nice day. See you later. Now, if you're at a work situation, if you're like in a more a situation where those people know each other, right, and you don't want a bad rep, do the thing I said, which is, hey, I'm sorry, I'm socially like a little bit anxious, and I'm trying to catch up, and I thank you for understanding, and just leave. Because that way, you're just telling them, like, dude, I'm new. I am a little awkward, but I'm trying to get better. And most people will appreciate that, or at least like respect that you're trying to improve. It's a very powerful line because you're just admitting the fact, look, man, I am behind the curve, and I'm trying to get better. So what? And most people go, oh, good for you for getting better, And sometimes I go like, cool, that's awesome. Let me know how I can help. Like I could be your friend, or if you need advice on, your texts, like sometimes they'll even offer to help you. Not often, but some girls will just enjoy that. So there is power to admitting and embracing wherever you are on this journey.
But when you were starting out, because I am a very anxious person, how do you deal with obviously every shot that I take is not going to hit, right? So how do you kind of deal with just getting over it? Because I know it's gonna like the first few, I know they're gonna affect me a little bit. How do you get over it and just keep moving?
I think having someone there is good, at least one person, because even if that one person is too afraid to approach, because when you get rejected, you just kind of look at them and you start like, it's kind of like funny, like between bros. But if I'm by myself, it definitely affects me more, right? Even now, I've trained my brain to not let it affect me, but I can feel the emotion. So the first thing is like, I don't try to deny the emotion, because if you deny the emotion, you suppress it and it stays with you and it like festers. So I feel it. My face is red. I'm ashamed. I'm like, I got rejected. I feel it 100% completely, because you can't deny that. Um, then I have a emotional release exercise that I do if the emotion is really strong. Logically, I always tell myself I'm collecting data. So, oh, I just got experience of what not to do. Good. It's a reference point. So to me, it's like imagining I'm like a Pokemon hunter and I'm collecting Pokemon. Like I'm in a game and I'm trying to get like resources, right? And if I get enough reference experiences of what not to do, eventually I'll know what to do. The other tactical thing I do is if I get rejected right away, for me, my personality and probably yours too, is I don't want to wait too long for the next approach, because the longer I wait, the more my mind starts to talk down to myself. You're a loser, da da da, you shouldn't be doing this. So like within like a minute, if I can find another girl, I'll be like, hey, you looked interesting, I wanted to meet you. Because the chances are like you're gonna train your brain to realize like it doesn't really matter, right? Funny enough, sometimes I get rejected even me, 3 times in a row, right? I mean, it would be unlucky if that was for me. But then the third time, something in your brain clicks. You're just like, oh, I'm not dead. Nothing bad happened. She just walked away. And I found that when I was starting out, after the third rejection, suddenly the fourth and fifth one was a lot easier. I was like in San Francisco by myself, and I was like, I cannot go back to Mountain View until I talk to 3 women today. That's like, and I can't, I'll buy myself coffee, I'll reward myself, but I cannot go unless I do this. And I remember always after the third one, everything felt easier, because your brain is like, hey, I'm still alive. I didn't get slapped. She just said I'm not interested. Cool. So something in your brain changes after the third one. I don't know why. It just happens a lot in the field. So I hope that helps. Yeah. Now, for those of you asking for coaching, I am ending my career as a dating coach. Okay. I will continue being a social skills coach. So it's not official yet, but I think right now, if you want dating advice, check out my course. Go to highintegrityskills/40. It's got 100 lessons in there, videos of me in field, of me breaking it down, copy and paste lines for online dating, cold approaching. It's got everything from like my knowledge in the last 10 years there. So I think that course will do it. And if I open up like one-on-one coaching, I'll think about if I want to do that in the future.